and welcome to Finextra TV. I'm Hannah Wallace and we're here at Money 2020 in Las Vegas. Kindly join me now to talk a bit about partnerships is David Reiling, CEO of Sunrise Banks. Hello David, thank you very much for joining us.
It's great to be with you today.
So to start off, I'm going to talk to you about partnerships, but could you introduce to our audience a bit about Sunrise Banks?
Sure. So Sunrise Banks is a family-owned bank in the United States, and we are closely held. So I actually own the bank, if you want to put it in those terms, which is somewhat unique maybe for your viewers. And in that space, Sunrise has a do well and do good mission. So while the bank needs to grow and be safe and sound and regulatory compliant, we also focus in on both locally as well as globally initiatives and innovations and partnerships that do some type of good.
Well, that brings me nicely to my next question then.
Perfect.
Partnerships, they have evolved over the last sort of decade, as it were.
Yes.
What do you think are some of the new opportunities partnerships present?
Well, I think there's a tremendous opportunity in partnerships, particularly today, and particularly as we sit here in Money 2020 in the fintech space. And I think it's important to note that all partnerships don't have to be so technologically based, but there's usually some component of technology or data in that space. And so in today's world, as we look at the fintech space, let's say particularly in the US, but we also see a lot of interest from the UK and the EU coming to the United States in those neobanks or those product service offerings, they look to plug into a bank, and so they look to plug into a bank like Sunrise. So we have a platform for that. And in that space, so I think when we think of partnerships, I think you might think of a marriage or a dating or something of that, and it's a little bit like that. The values alignment and how you get along, somewhat outside of the product and the technical, are sometimes the biggest hurdles to overcome and really make a successful partnership or not.
Well, that's a good analogy there. And then coming to the sort of the skill sets, what do you think of the roles of the fintechs and the banks? What skill sets do they bring to the table, and especially what happens when they're combined as well?
Yes, and so the skill sets can blend a little bit, but usually they're fairly distinct. And so from a bank's perspective, you know, we do a few basic things really well. We have a banking license, and so we can store money, we can move money, we can lend money. We know compliance, and to a certain extent, it doesn't always get talked about, but cybersecurity. There are protocols in banks, they're rigid ones for banks, and that's rightfully so, they should be. I think when we talk about the unique abilities and the skill sets of the fintech, it's really going to be around what unique customer experience are they going to deliver, and how are they going to deliver that. So from the standpoint of the product design itself, to how it's delivered, how it's serviced, and kind of that ongoing relationship, if you will. And what we see particularly with fintechs in the US is that they start with one product, but they're really brand companies. And so one product is going to lead to something adjacent to that. And so the idea is, can you have a partnership that can grow as well?
All right, well, you certainly set the scene for us then. But could you give us some examples of successful partnerships and maybe some use cases where customers have been able to manage their money better?
Sure. So a couple of them. First, I'll talk about Self. Self offers a cash-secured credit builder loan online, nationwide in the US. So a very simple product. And in this particular case, what we're helping people to do is build some savings and build their credit history, and through a small installment loan. And so with that, Self has, in 2018, helped more than 33,000 people improve their credit score. In 2019, they're on track to do more than 50 million in loan originations. And so great success story in terms of really doing well and doing good at the same time. We like the small dollar loan space because we're not really big fans of payday lending or high cost kind of irresponsible lending. Another product that we offer is called TrueConnect. This is offered through a company in San Diego called Employee Loan Solutions that we have a partnership with. And so think of it as an employee-based loan. So sometimes people go to get an advance from their salary, or go to in the US, the 401k, their retirement, in order to borrow money for an emergency. This gives them access to $1,000 to $3,000, payroll deducted loan, no credit bureau. So if you've never accessed credit before, or if you have poor credit, this is a place where you can go in a very highly structured loan. 1 year installment loan comes out of your paycheck, so keeps you out of debt. And that's the whole idea, is to keep you healthy in that space.
Wonderful. Some really exciting work you're doing at Sunrise Bank, and it's the first time I've got to speak to you guys, so thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you so much.